Hi, my name is Debra Katz, and I am extremely excited to be bringing to you an interview that I just did with my co-researcher and co-author, Jon Knowles. We met with Eric Schöne, who has been leading a remote viewing group where they use associative remote viewing to make predictions and wagers on sporting events. And so they are predicting future outcomes using associative remote viewing. And Eric was telling us that they have been having some really excellent results, sustained results over a period of time. So within a month, sometimes they have as many as 30 predictions, and they've had as high as an 87% success rate, which is excellent to sustain over a period of time. And so we wanted to meet with him to find out what is he and his group doing differently, because not every person or group using associative remote viewing is having that level of success. Let's find out.
So Eric, do you want to tell us a little bit about your work and yourself, or just plunge right into our questions? Which would you rather do?
Yes. So I think my English is a bit rusty, so I hope it works. So let me try.
Okay.
Let's start with me getting into remote viewing 3.5 years ago. So I think it was a bit depressive state in my life. So I was there, and things getting slower and slower, and anxious thoughts come in like that. I was 38, and 3 children, and depressed, laying down with no movement some days. So try everything you can imagine, go into ice baths, taking every stuff was there, doing therapy and all of that. And one thing was, I have a friend, and she studies as an early Christian mystics. Yes, so the early Christian monks in the 100, 200 years after Christ. And they had also, let's say, meditative tradition, and Jesus prayer came up. The monks living in the deserts of Egypt and so on. So she wrote a book and brought me into the group, speaking the Jesus prayer to give the head something to do that has not to do with depression. And in this book, there was a small text about the monks at Mount Athos. Maybe you know, it's old Orthodox Christian tradition. And she wrote in her book that those monks developing superpowers like remote viewing. And also mentioned in her book a Stargate project, so 4 years ago. And I read this and again, and one day later I was in a course about remote viewing in Austria. So I don't know anything about remote viewing, but it was technical remote viewing, some kind of difficult, you are not in the zone and try to get out whether there are people or not. So it's very difficult thing with the technical protocols there. So, and that was the beginning. And also I searched for some books, and there was a book from a German remote viewer. It's called Sports Betting with Remote Viewing. And that was the very beginning 4 years ago to start remote viewing for sports betting. So
wow, that's a good story.
And it don't. I did those courses on Lynn Buchanan. I did Lori Williams. I did Pam Coronado. I know her in person, and she knows our project, and did everything. Since maybe I'm not a born psychic, I thought I'm such kind of intelligent, so I take some IQ tests, but I'm not a born psychic. So take all those courses, and with the goal to fix the problems in ARV. That was I don't know why, but that it seems to be my mission to fix the problems. So let me say it this way. So I did, I think, 1,000 views, sometimes 10 a day on these protocols.
Wow.
It's so massive, and I want it so much that I think I get good in it somehow. Yes, but they are primed to do ARV on mass viewing with small targets and quick 10-minute sessions on those technical protocols. And it is a kind, over the time, I think you feel what's working and what is not working, and going out after 10 minutes in such deep looking into the targets is very, let's say, tired. It is tired. You are 5-6 views later, you are like 10 working on mathematics, 12th grade or so. I hope I hope this is right, but it's too much for the head, I think. So and they are getting more into direct intuition, staring on white walls and this, but it is learning, like, you know it the best. You want to see more. You wanted to see 3D or have bilocation and so on. Want to dive deep in the target and get more, and that's not possible with those protocols. It's the end of stage 2. And they are working, it's enough for their ARV they are doing, but it was too less for me.
So it sounds like your introduction to remote viewing was really also an introduction into associative remote viewing. Like they did that together, would you say?
Yes, it was, with all the problems. So we get into these books and we retested all these things. So judging on ourselves, taking real world targets as association, taking smells, taking sounds. And I think we did everything you can imagine to fix these problems and to get somehow to 60 or 70%, and often not. Often it was 50, 55, and we take a break, and I wanted to give it up, and I was a bit, let's say, bored about all this. So we did mass viewings. The first ARV targets, we want to solve the problems viewing 4 or 5 targets on one sports game. So everyone was tired, and it didn't work. We have overcross, overlay, and all the beginners' problems on ARV. So it was the hard way. And I also did CRV targets. I also searched 2 times for a missing person. I found out at Lynne that I'm very good at mapping. So sometimes I take a map and search for some mushrooms or the best places and all that things, or timelines, or old Egypt and all these mystic stuff targets. And I also did this, but every time I get back to ARV to solve these problems. So it's not just like magnetic to me to see into the future or to fix those problems. I thought it can be. I always had the thought, there is one feedback I had to view. There's no other. There's no one in the room. I never will open up this brown envelope, so it has to work. And with this thought, we always restart. We get back to 0 and restart it again with all legal dopings and all methods. Your whole book until today. Until today, we are reaching up to 90% in the best months, and we don't get 100. So there's no, if I have a sneeze or my judge or my organization team told me, oh, at least the photos was too near together and all that, no one gets 100%. So, but I thought if it's all over 60 to 70, it's good to earn money with it. So 87 is a great. I know every person in ARV. I think I know, meanwhile, I know in personally everyone who is involved in such deep projects. And he's always that guy, he builds software. He's Igor Gritschik. maybe,
Gergich,
yes, his
Gergich, yeah.
ARV tool, yes.
Mhm.
So I know him in person,
Yeah.
and he told me on the phone, everything over 80% is God mode. And I told him, okay, let's see. And he's more, I said, good. He is, the software is based on self-judging. So I'm absolutely no friend of self-judging, also knowing 150 self-judged targets to direct your mind, but I'm no friend of it. I saw the best remote viewers also here with self-judging, and we had a hybrid between a horse and a pyramid. So he sketched a pyramid with a horse head, and that was the end of self-judging here. So one picture A was a pyramid in Egypt, and B was a horse race. So we had a horsed pyramid. So that was the end of
Yeah,
self-judging.
I've had lots of experiences like that myself, so
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of self-judging
Yeah.
either.
Yes.
Yeah, can you tell us then the adjustments that you made to your protocol that you feel are leading you to having more success than previously?
I said the main, I thought after all thousands of tries, I think one thing is the intuition of the tasker. So the tasker has to take two pictures. He has no favorite. Two good pictures, like let's say one wood and one train station, subway station. That is a classic here. Subway station. I've seen all subway stations in the world. So this one. It's the problem with viewing a wood. A wood, you get displaced. Put a cross in it, and you get back thousands of crosses from each viewer if there's a cross the wood. That's the problem of displacement. So the judge or the organization team choose pictures. They don't have a favorite. That's the first thing. The second thing is written cues and written tasking, handwritten cues and tasking was the second thing. There is a more profound intuition is set in the future. And one big thing was to decouple you have the feedback process, you view, and you get your feedback. And it should have nothing to do with the game. So the viewer views the feedback, not the game. So there is an intuition. The tasker says, okay, I show you this picture if A win and this picture if B win, but that's it. No cue like who is cheering at the sideline and all that stuff. It's all overcrossing in the timelines. There are two possible timelines. Like tonight, we have a game tonight. It's always US sports with us because two of the viewers are from Texas and Canada. So we also have the time gap problems here. So we choose night sports in Canada, in USA, and we have two possible timelines tomorrow. In one timeline, I see this picture. In the other timeline, I see that picture. And both parties have to concentrate which timeline occurs. Is it the picture A or the B? The last one who sees both pictures is the judge reading the view, choosing the pictures, closing all books, and the next day solving that one picture that has won, no matter what. There was no other picture at the point of tomorrow. Even the organization team or the tasker, let's say, don't have a look on the second picture. Never ever again. It's like say it's destroyed. Me, old school, I have brown envelopes like in Stargate project here behind me. So the pairs are chosen 1 month in forward, and I even take the second brown envelope. I will not open and put him into the trash, so that there could be no possibility that I have a look on the picture that is not the winner picture. And so with the time we dissolved that overcross this. It was 80% this picture or 20% this picture. We solved these overlappings. They are so difficult to see. There was lines here, there was lines there, and all that. So even also also a game is postponed. That is a good example.
Let me interrupt for a second and ask you about this dissolving the picture, because that
Yes.
to me is a difficult concept. How do you actually dissolve or get rid of the second image for any of the participants? And which participants try to dissolve the second image? Just the tasker does it?
And me too. I have both pictures here in, let's say, this month and last month in brown envelopes. I have an A and a B and a target number that is set for each day. So we have the date as target number. So you're always on the date that there's no problems with feedback. You have always the date target number with two envelopes, A and B. And there is the night, the game, and the tasker say, okay, it's A. Open envelope number A. So the B is never opened. It gets into the trash ton with his envelope.
How about the person who chose the photos, though, who knows both photos, right? Someone has chosen both photos?
Yes.
How does that person dissolve the second image?
If it's there, it's digital, and he don't take a look at the picture. He have two pictures. He looks who has won the game. Is it A or B? If it's A, he never ever take a look at the picture B.
But has he looked at it before the game?
Yes.
All right. So
While judging.
he just sort of shuts it out of his mind, doesn't look at it again, and you never see it at all. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yes, this is, we are trained on ERV. I trained with ERV, and we have two ERV viewers, so we had a problem with mind reading, and therefore we we had these problems. Yes.
So just to back up, so you're the overall project manager. At least a month before you choose two photos that are neutral and balanced, you put them in envelopes, you kind of label A and B, you forget about them. Then once you start the trial, you have a second person who's the judge. They'll look at both photos just to judge. But once they do that, they try to not think of both of them again. And once the game is over, they don't like pull the other one back. They just act as if it never existed. And so part of your success is that the two of you as the project manager and judge are being very, very careful. And then it's all very clean and organized because your viewers, they know the target number. They don't have to have like a lot of extra communications with you. Basically, you say, here's a task, send me your session. They get the feedback photo, and everyone's just very careful.
Absolutely. Yes, 3 times. I read 3 times what to open, and the judge and the tasker think about it 3 times before he wrote which envelope to open. Yes, and there's less communication between us. No, like even not a thank you by transmitting the view. So view is scanned via iPhone and transmitted as PDF. So there's a lot of future technical things here with it, but there's no pre-feedback. There's nothing like it. You get a star, or this was a great day, or such things. Yeah, all this is all pre-feedback. Yes.
Okay, I still have a couple of questions. Sorry. So are there 3 people involved? A tasker, a judge, and you, or are there 2 people plus a viewer?
We need for this 2 people. A tasker and judge is 1 person.
Okay.
And viewer is 2nd person.
Right.
Here we have some more people, financial experts, so to say, in operating with betting systems or searching games and such. But there's no need in it. Tasker and viewer are the dream team. And then we have such other viewers came in, partial time in such. We have lucid dreamers. They take in the target number within their dreams. We have meditative guys. We have dowsers here. And I have 4 trainees learning remote viewing from me on a like free basis. I told it it's more Robin Hood mode here.
Yeah.
Yes, it's for free.
Okay, that's great. And one more question was, I thought you said that you have the 2 envelopes. So you're the say the judge.
Yes.
But you also said that you send the photos to viewers by PDF. Is that right?
Yes, we have both ways. I send my view as PDF to the judge, and he also operates the database, storing all views, checking for strengths and weaknesses, and all that. So we store everything. And also we found out there was a time we reached 78% or 76, like that, and it didn't get higher, and I don't know why. And then I found out if the judge, the tasker says the next morning, oh, we lost, the game was lost. So I think, oh, why I should judge my own view against this picture? It's all is lost. So I take a short look and don't take this thing I wrote you. I don't sit down and looking on the photo and compare it with my view. So this was the time we thought we don't take the small digital pictures. We are going back to A4 and a normal letter format, a big picture in a brown envelope. And with this, we found out the views are better and the success rate is higher, because you sit down, you have these great pictures, and often as you know, you view such detail. So take a big wood, put a small cross in it, and the cross is like 3 meters high in the view. So with a big picture, you have the chance to see the detail, and also you can't oversee the detail because it's printed down and it's laying against to the view itself. So that was another that brings us very quick over 80% in success rate.
Wow.
You said that you use PDFs and printed photos.
Yes.
So like the viewers in Texas, do they always get an envelope, or do you just send the viewers a PDF?
I myself, I get the brown envelopes. The viewers in Texas and Canada get pictures, but we do not, we take let's say we have the Gosha Abbott is an ERV viewer. So she wrote 10 sentences, and in ERV, it's like the beginning of stage 3 without sketching from the point of sharpness. So she also wrote a message, Facebook Messenger, and one day later she gets a picture. Take a short look, and we wonder, is the view sharp or is it not sharp? And so we put the picture in a PDF with her own viewing text. So she had to open the PDF, see the feedback, and also compare it with her viewing. And that was the 20% sharpness on the ERV viewer. With all restrictions, ERV is not, in my opinion, not to use to get a high percentage in ARV.
Just to summarize, so what you're saying is that your percentage went up when you put the picture, like a high resolution, large picture in an envelope, and then you're careful about what you send to the viewer, not just a little thumbnail, but a good size PDF, and you do a process where for sure they have to look at it. It's not just like an afterthought where you send them a little picture somewhere, but you're careful about that process.
Absolutely. With using printed photos in such high resolution format, I saw, if I judge and see something like, let's take the subway station. There was stoned lines, yellow sparkling stones in a rounding. So I sketched the whole tunnel and say it's yellow, it's sparkling, it's look like this is a beer brewery as AOL. So in the next day, I open the envelope and take a deep look, and what I see is so yellow sparkling in the rounding. So what I view is what I will judge tomorrow. And sawing this, we changed the method to brighter and bigger pictures. Also with more details. According to Pam, she told me I should have the ability to view letters and numbers direct. So I never get it, but if there is an ice truck with printed fresh ice on it, I see it as there must be something that is there are letters and numbers on it. Like AOL, there's a big wall advertising like that.
Right.
And also the taskers know and say, okay, give him some letters. If we need a success, give him some letters and he will see. And that is the case with me. Yes. So
That's
it's
terrific.
also oriented. Yes.
So would you say with the types of photos you're using, what are your thoughts on using full scenes versus close-ups? Like I just started working with some guys, and they wanted me to do a few targets, and all their targets so far are close-ups, just like a finger holding something and you can't see the whole scene. I don't personally like that, but what are your thoughts?
Yes, it is. There are two. Let's begin with Lynn Buchanan taking archetypes. I'm no friend of it. I think the gap is too small to get archetypes in stage one. But getting from this, you get on a strengthened way sharp enough to see detailed pictures. So using this method and viewing 45 to 50 minutes, I also get into some more detailed ones, like even subatomic constructions like that. I now use own development of a protocol. It's German development, and I changed it to the needs of ARV. So I adjusted the whole protocol to fit to me. And we doing a multiple ideogram on the first page, getting divided, getting some points, 3 to 10, making some impression. It is natural, it is more constructive, and then at the end we set an AI and feeling. How does it feel? Is it boring? Is it anxious? Like that. With the drive of the feeling, you repeat this process, stage 2. Stage 3, full sensory, beginning from colors, then the type of material, to smells, to clear audience, and ending with the first impressions of the room, the first 3D. Getting into stage 3, some of us do some sketches. I like those comic strips, 10 details, a corner here, a square there, and so it's like Donald Duck comic if I finished. And then going into stage 4, similar to the Americans, it's similar to Lynn Buchanan, but then we do a movement command. And we do a movement command saying the target should be seen from the optimal perspective, from the optimal view. And with this movement command, we're getting out of the whole scene and can adjust to a thing like you say, holding in the hand. I don't like it. We don't use it. But with this movement command in the protocol, it seems to work. So we had the eyes of a sheep some days ago. So like you get back medicine balls, and some say looks like cookie dough, all that, the best RLs. So we used to take the whole summary, non-violent target, non-explosion, alien, out of Death Smith's wonderful pool, nothing like that. We did some boring things, but with a lot of detail. With like the subway station, you have sparkling lights, you have people, some is laying down, you have a dog is running, and we use a lot of detail. And because we're thinking, yes, the subconscious mind is spinning around according to your day and your thoughts. It's spinning around. Someday it's colors. Last week I had clear audience week. So all was, let's say, lame, but audience was a dream. And
so when you had like the eyes of the sheep, so was the photo just a close-up of the eyes?
Yes.
And did you say, did that go well? Did that work well or not so well?
Not so well for the rest of the viewers are often tired at the end of stage 3. So we try to avoid. It's more like choosing interesting things, choosing photos. There's a lot to explore, like the ice truck. It's a dream of red and and pink, dream of red and pink, but not too boring. We had the wood with some old trees and some small water in it. It was a mess. It was a mess. We get everything instead a wood. It was, so it's not recommended. But yes, choosing a wood with a hunter's sit, these high wooden sit downs for the hunters in the wood, it's a dream. You have the whole temperature, you have the smells, you have the birds singing, and you have some high looking up geometrical figure AOL tower. So a dream for the judges.
Tell me where I'm incorrect here. You have viewers who use ERV.
Yes.
You have viewers who use lucid dreaming.
Yes.
You have viewers who use CRV stages 1 to 3.
Yes.
Any other types of viewers or methods that people use?
Let me think around the corner. You have me using stage 1 to 6.
Okay.
At least, like, I'm viewing yet now in the evening. My small girl is sleeping in 20 minutes, hopefully. So I'm viewing stage 1 to 4. If I'm in a good mood, I go to stage 6 and take a movement command, getting sharps and getting some details. I'm more the sketcher. I paint, I sketch and sketch and sketch and everything, but the details, not the combined target, I sketch details. So the ERV viewers, it's combined, it's a scenery, it's a stage 2. If you look on the sensoric, and often a whole scenery, like it's like girls dancing around a ball scenery. And often then we get with the ERV, we get a drift in the AOL. So you have to know the ERV viewers very well. We have some meditating on the target. Some of these meditative groups, they join us partial, coming from Monroe Institute. They are using the binaural frequencies or taking 432 hertz heart chakra opening meditation, and that if they came back with a result, it's also stage 2, the beginning of the stage 3. Lucid dreaming was very good as we tested, but you don't have it's not fixed. Someone came back and say, okay, I dreamed nothing. So you can't build up on lucid dreamers. You also can't build up on meditative states. If there's something going on in the family, it is a mess. You get back a mess. So the trainees are now on stage 3, beginning stage 4. Very good. I had to learn, me as man, viewing geometrical machinery archetypes, and our girls trainees are viewing love sceneries and energy flows. So I have to learn this. I don't see love energy in a view, but our girls does. So I have to think around the corner,
That's funny. So you are finding like differences of targets with gender or the appeal of them. Yeah, that's funny. I can relate to the love energy there. Can I ask, so when you personally are doing your ARV sessions, about how many minutes per session are you spending?
Our best viewer, Gosha Abbott, maybe she has the biggest Facebook group. They're doing mystical targets and such. 1 week mystical and 1 week normal, and I think 3 to 5 minutes. So she sat down and post what she get.
Oh,
Who
so
is
she's
this?
only-
Who is this? Who's the person?
Yes, a Polish name, Małgorzata Abbott or Gosia Abbott. Małgorzata Abbott is the Remote Viewing Practice Targets Facebook group.
oh,
It's Patrick Flanagan, and so maybe you
oh.
heard it.
But she's only taking 5 minutes. So when you personally do your sessions, how long do you take?
It depends from 20 minutes board day and quick session with a bit mess in it to 45 minutes doing very slow and sketching each point of the football, something like that. Yes.
See, that's interesting because most people take a very short time for ARV, but myself personally, I like to, if I'm going to do a good job, I feel like if I'm really going to do a good job, I like to spend between 20 and 45 minutes. So you're the first person I've met who really also takes your time with it. Because I've found too, like lately, I've been more lazy, so I've been doing ERV. I look at ERV as the lazy person's, especially when you know different methods. So, it's just, I'm going to lay here. I'm not going to take the time to write. And yeah, I find like my ERV is just not as good as my CRV, because just like you say, it's like depending on what's happening in life, it's ERV just kind of makes you go all over the place. Another question I have is, are you wagering? Are you betting money on these? And can you talk about that process, how that works?
Yes. The most important part was to the overall result. We strictly divided the gaming and betting process from the viewing. So meanwhile, since 8 weeks, I don't know the game. It's US sport. It's like New York Yankees against Boston, like every second night. It's always Yankees against Boston or something like that. And I'm not a sports fan. I never ever look sports. It's boring to me. The only sport I do, I go out for a run to do something for my body. That's the only thing I can say about sports. So I have no idea on the results and no idea on the game. There is a Telegram group we use. There are 30, our whole team is in it, 30 persons. So we post the result every night. I don't take a look in this group. I only have a view on that feedback picture tomorrow. And why is that? It is if I see that a game is lost, I view and I see the game is lost. So it can different things. The judge, the tasker has chosen the other picture, or it was not sharp, or he make a mistake, or whatever. Then this pressure came into the feedback process. I can't have a positive feedback process with knowing that we lost the game of the last night. So I said, stop this. We don't want to have this pressure in it. So we divided. So I also wrote, John, the best thing is you view and get back a feedback with $10 bill and say, fine, great, thank you. So this method, this dividing alone brings us more than 10% increase of the whole process. Dividing that games from the view. Yes.
So who's choosing the game, and then who's placing the wager or the money? Like someone's betting on it,
Yes.
and then you guys are making money.
Yes.
So
we
who
have
does?
Yes, it was the tasker did this all. We had a betting system saying like you bet $10 one night. If it don't work, you bet $20. If that don't work, 40, and if that don't work, 80. Since last year, the summer last year, there was never a time we had 4 failures in a row. So like you say failure, and the fourth one is a hit. So we double the amount, and also say we can have 5 failures in a row. It's always calculated in that way that you can have 4 misses and the fifth one have to be a hit. No matter the result, no matter the view, there will be no time the financial team say, oh, that was a good view, let's bet $10,000 on this. It's never the case. Never. We don't go gambling. Yes, that's the right word. We never ever go out and do some gambling. And with this, the anxiousness, the losing, the anxiousness of losing is going down, and the performance increases dramatic.
So you have a separate financial team.
Yes.
They have a protocol in place. They always follow no matter what.
No matter what.
They're up at $20 down, and the next time, if are you saying if it's a miss, then they do 40 the next time, but what if it's a hit the first time? Does that change?
Then again, 10. It's a stake. It's a stake system. Let's say you are willing to risk $100. So they take the 100 and divide with 2, divide with 2, divide with 2. And then you have dividing with 2, you have 5 times dividing, and you have a stake like, I don't know, no good in to calculate at Eve, like $4. And that is the single first stage. So if it's a hit, it's another 4. Hit 4. Failure 8. So, and with this, they have an overall return rate between 66 and 80% a month. So if you have, yes, that's
wow. Can you say how much money you've earned over a period of time, like in the last per month or in the last year, how much money has been made?
We are to get the first priority was to get this percentage high. Now it's like you can live from it on a good base, but here in Germany you are very restricted up to the amount you can bet. So there's a maximum to bet, let's say on the most companies here, it's like $500. You can't place a bet on $1,000 or $2,000. So we have to live with these restrictions. And going on the Asian markets, there are Asian high roller, they say, okay, you need $10,000 to start here. So we live in the German gambling restriction law system that is very, very restricted, very restricted.
So could you say like how, are you able to say how much you've increased the amount of money you started from, or give like a ballpark figure? Like,
I would say, let's say, I think if we started, so we take out and live from it. If we started last year with 1,000 euros, I would say, let's say, we did 30,000 of it, maybe. Take something out, put something in, and so yes. It's also for us the decision against doing lottery, because the return is much higher on a stable basis for month to month with sports. So that's the main case, yes.
So you started off basically with 1,000, and now you may be somewhere like around 30,000.
Maybe it's more oriented. We are living more in the thought like every month we have a small salary at the end of the month. So me owning another company has nothing to do with remote viewing. I'm also in charge for this one. So I have 3 small companies to work in, and remote viewing is a hobby. But Tasker and financial team are part-time in it. The Tasker, she is living from it. So she lives from it. And the financial master is part-time living from it. So he has our own company half-time and half-time doing this, yes.
And then do the viewers get paid as well, or how does that work?
That's a good question. No, everyone is responsible for using the result. It's a big, there's never ever a money like I've lost my money and you are the reason for it discussion here in the group. So financial management can manage the accounts for the viewers. Viewer who is participating here can say, hey, can you do this account for me, or can you bet some money for me? That is possible. But the three viewers, the trainees, are don't betting. They don't like betting. They are like, they will never bet. They only want to learn this.
Mm.
And the other viewers, it's like their husband getting the result. So they don't have to touch money like this. So it's interesting here. The most of the viewers are more, oh no, let's view. I'm not interested in sports and sports betting. That is the,
Yeah,
they have all jobs.
that makes sense from the viewers we've known. And
Yes.
I was never involved in this to make
Yeah.
money from it. Although now, after all these years, I certainly wouldn't. But yeah, for many years, it was just so much about the practice opportunities and learning and everything. Yeah, John, do you have any?
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions. So on the lottery, you said that you don't do the lottery because you have more reliable returns from games. Were you able to achieve success in the pick 3 or pick 4 or pick 5 lotteries? And if so, how much success?
I think we trained. It is like we did. I think it was Ireland have pick 3 lottery. So we have a friend in Ireland. He's so the mystic viewer. He's more the alien target man. And he say, hey, let's do the pick 3 lottery. And we did 3 or 4 times. And interesting is we do one view the day of the night sport. And another view, if we have time, we do some projects, some cheating the future. Did I found this girl on my next holiday views, like that? And one of these special projects are concrete result in soccer, like 2 goals, team A, and 3 goals. So it costs us about 12 views, and it's exact the amount we need for the pick 3 lottery. So whether we take pick 3 lottery 3 times or exact football result, these are similar for us to view. So these are, let's say, these are our special projects: pick 3 lottery, soccer for Friday night, cheating, and so on. It's more it's more fun. I wanted to know how far we can get if we say we divide a decision into A and B, and then we divide again. The second time we divide again, how far can we go? And we tested out 3 months forward and with 40 views on such special projects. And so we therefore we sometimes take this. And as I wrote you, in Germany, the smallest amount of numbers you have in the lottery is 7. So we take a part of it, and with 3 right numbers, you have $3 return. So what a great thing for 12 views. But we do this from the lottery. We take a date, and from the end to the beginning, we take some numbers and train with it. It's more a training. The focus is sports. Yes.
So you have not won a pick 4 or a pick 5 lottery?
Yes.
You have won a pick 5 lottery?
Yes. 4 numbers. I did
5 out of 5. I'm talking about pick 5 means 5 out of 5.
I did a better thing. Let me tell you, I'm as I told you, I'm good in mapping. If there is something in a map or a treasure in a wood, I will find it in a map in a stage 6. Absolutely. So like a dowser with free hand, maybe there is something in me. And I did a project, a small test, and we say like in America, you can buy these lottery sheets at the gas station, yes, at the supermarket, like here. So we say we do a map of the whole city here I lived in, and there are 50 points you can buy those lottery sheets. So we do a mapping and say, what is the point? What is the date? We can earn, we have the greatest benefit buying a lottery sheet. What is the time on the timeline in the stage 6? We can have the greatest income. And the third question in stage 6 was find the location. If I buy this lottery sheet, where's the location with the highest income? So date, time, and location, and then a map. So we found out that on a Saturday, 13 o'clock, at this point, it was a gas station, 3 streets nearby. I buy 4 those small batches for $4 or $5, and I get back 300 by rubbing it free. So that the greatest lottery thing was a mapping, not a ARV.
Well, a couple of points. So Joe McMonagle, has reported that that's how he wins lotteries. He remote views where to go purchase a ticket. However, he never said how he knows that he's going to buy the ticket that wins at that spot on that day. But apparently it does. Maybe like you, he's got a lucky thing going or something. The other thing is, you still haven't told me whether you actually won a pick 5 lottery, 5 out of 5. I asked that because I've won a lot of pick 3s and pick 4s. I've been trying to win a pick 5. I haven't won it yet. So I decided to try to find additional methods to maybe get a pick 5, because it's harder, obviously, than a pick 4. So you have not won a pick 5, right?
No, not one, because viewing it right, yes, but you are not living in Germany, you are not able to buy a ticket.
Okay, all right.
We are not citizens. So I can view you a pick 3 lottery in Ireland. I can't buy a ticket.
Well, there's a place online where you can actually, it's called Bet Any Sports. You can bet on, in the United States, I don't know if they'll let you do it from Germany, but I can bet on a pick 5 in the 5 or 6 states that Bet Any Sports covers. Plus you can bet pick 4s, pick 3s, straight or box. Straight and box.
Yes.
Straight bet is when you have the exact numbers in the exact order, and box is you just get the numbers in any order. So try Bet Any Sports. It's if you can get into it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I've been finding the like going to Las Vegas and playing the slot machines, it's very much walking around and finding the right machine. So just that seems analogous with driving around and finding the right store to get the lot tickets from.
According to slot machines, yes, I'm also a trainee of Joe Gallenberger. So with my dice, working with my dice every second eve and training or trying to bend that spoon, it never worked. I was in tears, wandering around the house with a spoon here. And so we know my wife is a school teacher. Fourth class in a Waldorf school, like a school with a more higher creative potential. And she try with the dice and she try with the flags and with the Zehner cards, a triangle, wavy line, circle, and that cards. What card show I? And the kids are, it's a dream. It's a dream. We all want to be like them. As 7 and 8 years old, predicting like they've done it a whole lifetime. So if I had a dream, what would I do? And maybe John also told him, if there's a company saying, can you do ARV for us? I would say instantly yes, because a company like a big financial institute had an issue, want to see a share is rising or falling, whatever, and it decouples you from the sport event. So if you ask me, what would I do to raise up to 90% and what is the next step to getting into 95? It's having to do nothing with the question. And everyone, like Jon told me, one is hired by a company and it's all secret. And he's viewing like Joe McMonigle found oil reserves for Shell in the Atlantic Ocean, and he does until this day. And yes, being someone who gets a normal salary for his views, no matter his quality, we would easily go to 95%. Absolutely. It is a problem with the triangulation. I wrote you, will it rain tomorrow, 12 o'clock? So whether the tasker nor the viewer can say, one hand gets wet and the other, what is the right answer? So you have to triangulate and say, this is the third point. Tasker and viewer have a look on. If that's 0, it hasn't rained. If there's a 1%, it has rained. So this is the grounding for our method. And if there's a big company hiring us to do some views, that would be the point. The company can't say, please tell me whether I tell you A or B tomorrow. That is not, he can shift this answer with a free will. But if something has to be triangulate, 95% is no problem. Absolutely no problem with this method. So that would be a dream and the goal. Also thinking about this by publishing our method. You can publish the whole process and saying, Eric is going around with a brown envelope, like in Stargate process. But you have to train in this method, you know. You are, my woman trainees are getting each love affair, but if you put them in front of a pyramid, they don't get a triangle. It's like, it doesn't work for them. So you have to adjust on the people working in it. And this is, it can't be healed with a process.
You said something about triangular. I didn't quite get what you meant by triangulation or triangular. Not the pyramids, but before that.
Okay, you have whether, let's say we do a view on Debra is going out of the house tomorrow's morning.
Okay.
And there's something with, she steps on a stone and get injured in some way and has to go back. Viewing this, and I say, yes, please don't leave the house. You'll get injured stepping out of the house, A and B. So now Debra can make a decision. I go not out of the house tomorrow because I get injured. If I take another ARV view on it, I would see she gets not injured. The first answer is right. The second answer is right. So with her free will, she can adjust the future, right? Triangulation means I view New York Yankees against Boston tonight. Am I possible to change the game result in New York tonight? I'm not. My tasker is not. Both viewer and tasker have a look on the game result on Google Sports. Whether New York wins is not saying by the tasker or the viewer, it's printed in Google Sports. And this third point is the triangulation point. In my opinion, you only can put two stable alternating timelines by choosing a third point. That is the very grounding in the method here.
I think I get it, but I'm not positive. Okay.
So are you speaking more to that you're choosing events that are more stable because it's not so easy to change? So a game is going to have its result. It's not a matter of just an individual deciding to follow through on something because it's scheduled. It's going to most likely happen barring some natural disaster. It's going to be printed somewhere. But for me as a person, I might hear the prediction and that might actually cause me to change my behavior. Thus, my future timeline is not as stable because I might be influenced by the viewing, whereas the football team isn't going to be influenced by the viewing. Is that pretty much?
Yes, that's absolutely the case. Yes, yes. Also, we tested this sometimes or often maybe games are postponed. So we have a game in, let's say, now in 5 hours. Our game is now in 4 hours. Now it's postponed to tomorrow, 24 hours later. Is the view right or wrong? It is right. The view will be right until I open this envelope. So the decision, this hard point, winning and losing, is forwarded in the future. And seeing this, I thought it is a proof for the timeline theory. So let's say like Dick Elgire posting Hawaii is targeted with laser weapons, like this one. So someone asked me, is that right or wrong? I say, let's ask yes or no. Open a brown, and is Hawaii targeted with energy and laser weapons? Such question, yes or no. So the thing is, tasker and viewer in this moment had to choose an information point, a third point, this triangulated point, where they get the information from.
Right.
Let's say I once say yes, had some mystic website is voting it's true. So the tasker is looking on this website and seeing it's true. I'm more a conservative person looking on Google News, and Google News does not print that Hawaii is targeted with laser weapons. So we had a different understanding of the future becoming reality. So there must be one point to look at, to agree before the viewing begins. We agree to look on Google Sports site whether New York has won or not won. That is the very point. Yeah. Otherwise, the timelines get conflicted. You get a conflict in the timelines. It was by trial and error.
So it's not just that there's an event and there's an outcome, but you're deciding on ahead of time how that where you find out about that outcome as well. There's more than just something happens. It's situated in a certain place. But what are your thoughts on since the viewer doesn't know any of this stuff, right? All the viewer knows is that they have a target, they're doing a set, and they're getting their feedback. What are your thoughts on, do you think that the viewer will describe their feedback? Like, let's say you made a mistake and you sent them the wrong feedback photo that was like not with the winner outcome, but the wrong one. But do you think that they will still describe their feedback photo no matter what?
No matter what. Because of the decoupling, because of the separation between the game and the picture, with the time, the viewer describes the feedback. Yes. Will there be a failure? The viewer describes the failure. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the case. Did we test it like, I sent you the wrong picture, you take a look, 0.3 seconds, I delete the picture and send you the right one? Yes, but it has a border. There is a point where feedback is feedback. I don't know where exact it is. Maybe it's all over 0.3 seconds, but a failure there in this process, timeline process, viewer describes the feedback. If I get a pizza, and it was the case, while I'm looking at the feedback, there will be AOL pizza in this view. It is that, I mean, with meditative judging, meditative looking at the feedback. Is there an explosion? Do I get a call? Do I open the envelope, it fell down, and some coffee is flying over the envelope, and all that happens? It is part of the feedback. Yes.
Yeah, I've found that for sure, that to the point where I get very paranoid. Like if I'm going to my computer to look at a feedback photo, like I'm so afraid someone's going to send me something else. And I've had that happen. In fact, I was a viewer on a project with Ed May, and he was sending me my feedback, and he had just gone on vacation or was about to go on vacation, and he sent me a photo of the place he was going to be staying at in India. And, that wasn't the feedback photo. That was just his vacation photo. And I was like, oh my gosh, why did you send me this right at the same time you sent me my feedback photo? Because I did a better job describing where he was going to go on vacation than the feedback photo itself. And I only saw it for a couple seconds, like you're saying. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to look at this, but it was too late.
Yeah. It seems that your intention, that now I'm looking at the feedback, that is the door opener in the feedback mode. So stage 4 to 6 viewing are not as shiftable when it comes to feedback, but the ARV viewers are. If I send a bad smiley or a rainy cloud as an icon, it's part of the feedback. It's not stable. It's definitely not stable. It's very, this process, I think we healed choosing the picture pairs 1 month before. So now I'm sitting on 60 envelopes at the beginning of the month. That's the case here. And it's more also a stabilizing of the feedback, because the feedback I will look at are in an envelope that is here on my desk. So it's not possible to send me a wrong feedback, but it is possible that the tasker have a wrong picture pair. So we had a super secure system, like saying we have a list with the feedback. We have, like, say, tower and wood. And looking at the photo, there must be tower and wood. And this target number must be tower and wood. And there are a double secure system in everything we do here. Yes. And each interruption means we lose that night. So this concentration in this process, by doing that all, 87% would be not possible by doing this on, like, say, feedback while driving. Please send me the picture. I'm driving and hearing music and someone is screaming. No, that's not. The same concentration for feedback, looking at the feedback, like viewing, like choosing pictures, like choosing the game and all that, leaving out the quotes.
I wanted to ask you about you said that the meditative aspect was as important as the viewing. I take meaning the meditative aspect, I think you meant as part of the feedback, or not?
For both. As viewing, everyone has. I also heard some days. I'm also hearing AC/DC while viewing. So it depends on my mood. But looking at this envelope, there must be silence, no noise. The same concentration while looking. So I'm going in my room, closing the door. Both envelopes. I take a second look. Is it A or B? Is it A? B are going into the trash can, and I open A, looking that I'm not interrupted, and putting the feedback against to my view and begin to compare. And don't do it under time pressure. So I'll take my time reading everything, comparing, and that is the thing. If it comes to sharpness in the view. So I'm a sketcher. The sketch aspects must be seen at the picture, or it's AOL. And I am searching for the things I sketched. I am thinking, is there some noise? We had a washing rooms, like that, those big laundry machines, and had the, like, clong, 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 and that sound. So I think about the sounds. Is it possible? Is there something making the sound? I take my time. Take my time with the feedback.
Do you mark up your session with the hits and try to boost your joy, or do you just try to be neutral about it? Those two aspects, whether you mark the sessions and how you feel about it.
Sometimes I found out the most higher the cheering while feedback, the most better the view.
Okay.
So if I have joy, don't thinking about the game, only thinking about the picture, take my coffee, have joy, cheering about the rounding of the subway station and the construction lines, and that the view is the better view. Being tired, being bored, knowing that the game hasn't won is at least that if it's like that, the view will be bad. So it's
Yeah.
a self-prophecy oracle.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so much, I've so much found that if I know that there was a miss, or that I'm thinking about the other photo and it doesn't look like at first glance it was a terrific match, like I don't even want to look at the feedback photo, right? Like it's almost like too painful, like let me just put this photo away and not even think about it. But from what you're saying, it's almost like there could be a retro causal effect from how you did to begin with. The whole process breaks down depending on what you do later if you're not really focused on your feedback.
It is. Yes, it is. It is.
So we don't have a whole lot more time, but maybe one of the most important questions is, I know that you've read our book, and
I
so
did.
how
I did.
we're curious to know, how did the book help you with your process? You have it there too. Have you found our book to be useful, and in what way?
Staying on track. It came in I bought it maybe on Kindle. Yes, on Amazon Kindle. I bought it in a phase we lost everything. So I wanted to give up and say it doesn't work. I'm not a good remote viewer. Let's pack this in. It's not possible. We don't get there. And then came the book, and there was like percentage. I don't remember. It's some months ago, but there was percentage. There was teams, and there you wrote in the book. I remember, like I hope that's right. The most good teams get divided because of the money discussion. And that was it. That was the enabler. With this sentence, I thought, okay, we must take the money discussion out. So no money in it. We begin with sports event and don't bet on anything. We just do it for fun. And day by day, the performance increase because we get money out of this. And weeks later, we begin to bet €1, €2. Results decrease a bit, like pressure, like anxious. And I think 3 months ago, since 3 months ago, the viewer hasn't to do anything with money. So it's complete out. Also, I get no stats. So I get also my stats at the end of the month, and in a form it's don't written like you was bad there and you was good there. So it's like, yes, it's provable. We have this Telegram group. Everyone can participate. Should measure us by our results, but there's no one who discusses with me. Did you see the game last night? No, I did not. I see my feedback.
Yeah.
And that as a book was an enabler. Without the book and that sentence about dividing group because of money discussion, I think I had given up a long time ago. Yes, that's for sure. That's for sure. There's the other books on sports betting by Manfred Jelinski. That's a German remote viewer. It's good. It's sample views. They did at least what we did. They use envelopes. They did 3 or 4 views and wrote a book about ARV. So that don't help us to succeed over thousands views now. But Yes, I remember the money discussion. Getting those money discussions out of the whole system was the greatest enabler, and out of your book, yes. That
Well, I just want to say that I feel so happy and relieved talking to you because, you know, for years I've been part of different groups that didn't do things always carefully, right? Like didn't follow the careful division of roles and protecting viewers from this other information, and things would be messy and things would not go well. And so you are maybe the first person that I've talked to in a long time who has really tried to isolate just the variables, do everything so carefully with all this separation, but pretty much following everything that probably both Don and I we pretty much agree on quite a bit. So you're being so careful and diligent, and yet you guys are still having fun with it. And I just want to say that makes me feel really good, because when it's not being followed like that, the whole process does break down and it does get frustrating. And for me personally, I've been like, okay, we wrote this whole 700-page book, but do we even like associative remote viewing? You know, because it can go either way. And so this is very encouraging, and I'm so glad that you were willing to meet, and Jon suggested that we meet today. And yeah, I know that I think it would be terrific if you guys could write up your results, and if you wanted help with that, I'd be more than happy to, you know, partner with you to, you know, write up a paper that could get published in a journal. You know, if you could just show that, you know, you've got your stats and they're well organized and everything. But I think it would be really of interest to both the remote viewing community and the scientific community, and, you know, let people know, like, yeah, this process can work, but you're going to have to be more careful. And I think also, like, you know, you guys probably show like it does take more time, it does take more effort to be more careful, you know, but you're getting the results.
Yeah, I'd like to second that completely, wholeheartedly. But some thoughts come to mind too. Like Debra and I both were active in the Applied Precognition Project for maybe, well, I was in about 10 years. And there are still like 2,000 people who are members, and they're still fussing around. So, and also we have all these wonderful new people on Discord. So naturally, my inclination is to try to help them. And one way to do that would be to have your method written up in some form and given to them. And I don't know if you object to this, but I would like to try to take all the notes I've just taken, write them up as to components of your method, send it to you, and if you approve, post it on APP or, okay? That would be wonderful.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm here to try to help other people too. I do the lottery, but I really don't try to make $1 million. But I want to see if we can get numbers. I mean, that's, you know, past numbers as well as future numbers. That's what I've been working on. But if you allow me to do that, I'd be very grateful to write up your method as I understand it. Okay, wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. As I told you, it's a transparent process, and nothing can replace the hard work. That's all. I want to learn ARV because we want to crack the lottery in the first week. That is the beginning for all ARV viewers. Okay, where does this lead to? It leads to frustration. Where learning remote viewing for 1 month and going to catch a lottery is, I think, a bit sporty. Yes, and so it's hard work, and it's at least at some point. We came to that point to let the ego out. There's nothing with I am the greatest here of all times. That's all. Right. That is all rubbish. And one story has nothing to do with ARV. There was a family, and their mother wrote a letter that she wanted to leave this life, and she was lost. So we take ARV, A and B method, and searching for this woman. So I remember what is a half year ago, and we dividing a great map, wood and streets, into A and B, and searching for the person. At least in the night, the police found her. So that was my shifting point, saying there is something bigger. One is sports and lottery and all that, and it's hard work, and we master this. But this other thing is helping people and gaining informational freedom. It's a method to gain informational freedom in things they are hiding from us, maybe. And so that was my shifting point, to let ego out. What's that all worth if I can't find a missing person? So we as ARV professionals looking to those viewers who viewing missing person and saying, that's the real work for us. That's the real work for the psychics to help there. And so the method is, yes.
I think too, like it sounded like the very first training you received in remote viewing was also really using the ARV process as well. And I find that a lot of people who get introduced to remote viewing through associative remote viewing, they don't really realize that they're really two different things. I mean, ARV is an application of remote viewing, but remote viewing can be used for so many more important things, really. And it's a whole, you really have to know how to get details and spend a lot more time. And a lot of people who just go to remote viewing through ARV don't really get that understanding until they get introduced to other teachers or viewers that are doing more. And I think that's really important to, let people know that too. Because whenever people will come to me and they'll be like, I've started to learn remote viewing, but my stats are really low and I'm just not good at this. And as soon as they say stats, that's a red flag for, oh, you're talking about associative remote viewing, really. You're not. And usually that's the case. They're not talking about missing people. But I'm really glad that you're doing both, that you have that focus on both.
Yes, I forgot to tell, I'm also in healing some how's the mind and how's the body thing, inspired by you, by the way. In one book you wrote how you see like there's a problems with the bones. So you're looking at there and getting, instead of blue, you're getting some red. I don't know the book, but you wrote it. And that was in a phase, I see nothing. I sketch the person and picking into the body, and there was nothing. I say, okay, maybe some over white and so on. And there was all wrong, all on AOL. So
well, yeah,
meanwhile, I get some right points, but I'm not a healing viewer. But I think it's important to do mapping, to do healing, to get some thoughts, to get some energies, and the whole, you can't say I'm that remote viewer because we master ARV. That's not, I'm not thinking in that, absolutely not. So seeing the healing results, seeing the mapping, seeing the founding persons on maps, that is hard, remarkable, in my opinion. Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
ARV can give us practice towards those processes, or those applications. But yeah, there's so much more to them. And Jon, do you think this is a good place to end?
Yeah, I do. I'm really grateful, Eric, that you gave us so much time and are so open to sharing your methods. And it's amazing. You're a whole different continent I wasn't aware of, basically. I know about the Germans, but you're a whole thing into yourself with all the people you're working with. So this is great.
Yeah, thank you so much for meeting with us and everything you're doing, and hopefully we'll continue this conversation into the future.
Yeah.
It's a great honor. Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah.